Yeah, but the 2 amps is great, and especially for time-based effects, you know.
Which is a perfect segue.
Cool.
Let's go ahead and talk about these effects.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, so why don't we start with turning everything off?
Okay, so you,
Yeah.
okay, what's your approach to pedals?
Yeah, okay. So when I went in with Mason, I had a bunch of questions, like, since we know each other well and have played over the years, you know, he's heard me play a lot. It's like, you know my thing, Mason. What do I need? You know, it was kind of where we started, and I basically said I want to have something that sounds great in a kind of always-on capacity, because most of what I'm doing, you know, if like I keep playing the introduction to that song, Plain Jane Heroin, oh yeah, all the pedals are off. But if I'm doing a thing where I'm really chordal mostly, then I need to just have that sound good the whole time, you know? And then so really what I wanted was like an always-on setup with a little bit of hair that would be responsive to my volume on the guitar, and then a boost. Like pretty much straight up this tone, but louder.
Sure.
Versus this tone, but with more distortion.
Yeah.
I don't actually really want that. You know, a lot of times the always on has like the exact sound quality I want, I just need it louder. So Mason really helped me put that together. Let's start with the this pedal, the Protein. So right now we just got this.
Okay.
This is nothing. Actually, wait. This is nothing.
Okay, this is nothing.
This is with the Brown amplification Protein. Versus little hair.
Sure. But like, you know, same voice.
Exactly,
but,
and it kind of opens it up a little bit. And then I put on the Benson Germanium boost. So with those two off, it's not just that it's quieter, it like doesn't have as much, you know, throughout the whole tonal spectrum, there isn't as much being lifted.
Sure.
So between those two, and then compression or no compression, I've always never used compression, and I partially it's just I always felt like it was too heavy-handed.
Yeah. And most of them are.
Yeah. So Mason pulled this one out, the Diamond Compressor, which I just felt like it. Hold on a minute. Here's where it should be. I felt like it sounded better with it always on. So here's the kind of always on versus.
It just keeps getting better.
Yeah. Sounds really good.
Yeah.
So now, this thing, the Vintage Ensemble stereo, is really dope. And once I heard this, I was like, man, I don't think I'm taking this off either.
Yeah, I love that.
Now, if I wanted to make this like very obvious, you know, but that's not really where I'm at. I'm at more of a subtle. But when you take that off, it's a bit more flat.
Sure.
So this is really bringing out the stereo-ness of the 2 amps. Is that on? Hold on. There it is. That. So that's the main, this is basically, that's the sound that I'm going to be playing tonight. Now, if I want to go crank into a solo, I have this Boss EQ that's been modified, and it's just like basically a volume boost. You know? To me that sounds great, and that doesn't actually, if you take it from here, versus if I were to, let's say, throw on more like distortion from another side of this pedal, you know? That starts to get muddy in a way that I'm not really that into. I don't want this to feel like fuzz, I want it to feel like boost. And then you throw it on there and you can really hear the compression now. You know, I love that. Or this thing.
Yeah, that's
it's kind of
great.
sweet. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my main thing is that I do have the Flint Strymon here, which I'm using as a tremolo,
Oh yeah.
which
Well,
is
that's-
just an amazing pedal.
Yeah, I love
This
that.
thing is great.
Boy, particularly in stereo like that. Oh,
I know,
man.
it's really cool.
Sheesh.
So
What a spread. That's great.
there's a place where I do that. That's a really useful pedal because you got the tremolo side and then you've got a verb side.
Yeah.
So you can get a lot done with that. Some people like to have the verb on their amp. I like to have a little verb on the Princeton. But it's really fun to have the 2 amps because, you know, the creamier of the 2 amps, you can kind of like set that as the wet
Yeah.
with the wet side of the effects, and then you're kind of getting this interplay there, which is great. And then I got this Black Fountain Delay, which is a really awesome pedal. It's the by Old Blood Noise Endeavors, which it's like an oil can delay.
Oh, okay.
Very cool, but to be honest, I haven't been using it very much on this setup because I don't know, I was more of like not a delay guy right now in my phase. That was more of Mason.
Yeah.
Mason was like, you're gonna want some delay, and I was
And
like, yeah, man.
He's right. Someday.
Totally.
Yeah. Someday.
The truth is, with how much, actually, let me say it a different way. The way we were approaching this was like, the delay was going to be a part of my always on, and this vintage ensemble was going to be a thing I was going to kick in for solos.
Yeah.
But I just fell in love with the sound of it, so now I'm never turning that off. So
Yeah.
having like a verb, a delay, and a time-based stereo effect is kind of too much time-based stuff.
Sure.
So I've been relying mostly on the vintage ensemble, but I do love that delay.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
just not really using it right now.
What I really love about your setup is it's kind of like a voice, you know.
Cool.
When some people, like singers, they might have a more aggressive tone. Sometimes they might pull it back for a softer thing. And that's kind of what you're doing with your guitar. It's the same voice.
Yeah.
But maybe a little angrier, a little breathier, whatever.
Totally, and
Yeah.
I like to have it, at least in my mix. I like to have I like to be able to, you know, if I'm there, I like to be able to. I play a lot with the volume, so I might be like, I'm gonna be doing that a lot.
Right. Yeah.
So
beautiful.
yeah, and if something's a little too loud, like Nick, my front of house engineer, he's amazing, and we're always doing, you know, dynamic stuff, so he's very good at riding that. But I like to be able to have the control on my end too, you know, because the electric guitar, it's like the ceiling tonally between. It's like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's as loud as it can get.
yeah, right.
So you want to hit it twice as hard? Doesn't matter. Same sound. It just keeps getting. It just gets more like sort of squashed or fartier sounding if you hit it too hard. So there's really, it's not like drums, which are my first instrument, where you can just, if you want it harder, like you hit it harder, it'll be louder. It's very hard to get that to max out. Yeah.